January. I challenge anyone to find a more dramatically spectacular place to be in January than a snowbound Ravenseat. Granted, a kinder, simpler home would be easier, but for wild, dynamic beauty, Ravenseat has to win, hands down. The farmstead sits neatly and squarely in a small valley, cosily hemmed in and dominated by the moors that surround her. With the farm comes a well-documented history going back centuries, the human presence visible in the walls and buildings. Much older still are the fossils still visible in the sandstone cobbles dug from the nearby quarry and the water-worn swirls on flagstones hauled from the beck. It is pretty much a certainty that all will be covered in a thick blanket of snow, drifts gathering beside the walls, delicate and pure wind-blown sculptures that glisten in the rare moments that a weak winter sunshine breaks through the heavy leaden skies so common at this time of year. Blizzarding snow and ice mean that we may well be cut off for at least part of the month, but we know the drill by now, and make sure we are well prepared. I fill the dairy with staples, sacks of rice, potatoes and pasta, big bags of sugar and flour, and plenty of tins. It is well within the power of every farmer to furnish the table through all seasons with wholesome dishes from the dairy, if preparations have been made. I drive 30 miles to Catterick Garrison, where I can buy in bulk, partly in a bid to maximise efficiency by keeping trips to a minimum, and partly as it makes financial sense. With a family to feed, and a sizable one at that, 11 people around the table, all with healthy appetites, keeping hunger pangs at bay is no easy feat in the winter. Normally, bulk buying poses no issue, but in 2020, when the pandemic lockdown was introduced, it became far more difficult to stock up in the way in which I was accustomed. Furtively loading up a trolley, I would constantly be looking over my shoulder, aware that, to my fellow shoppers, it would seem as if I was greedily hoarding food. I get potatoes by the sackful from the local agricultural suppliers, who stock them alongside the animal feed. The price varies depending on the season and availability, but even at their costliest, £12 for a 25-kilo sack is still a bargain. They are unwashed, encrusted with a little soil, so they store well without rotting or sprouting. They will keep for weeks if left in a cool, dark place. How we store food is so very important. Waste is to be avoided at all costs. It is undoubtedly difficult to incorporate much in the way of seasonal fruit into our diets. Other than cooking apples, frozen autumn berries, and stewed rhubarb, there's little to be had. But that is how it should be, periods of plenty, a glut, if you like, and times of scarcity. An awareness of seasonality is of huge importance, and often overlooked in a world where everything is available at all times. There is a time for everything, and it comes as no surprise that eating what is in season is easier on the pocket and naturally more nutritious and flavoursome. While I leave everyone to sort their own food for dinner time around midday, everyone pulls up a chair and gathers around the kitchen table for tea. Talk will inevitably be about the animals and the jobs that were done that day. We make vague plans for the following day, working out logistics to maximise efficiency and tackle problems. Our enjoyment is as much about the conversation as it is the meal itself, but it is during these coldest of days that everyone craves filling, hearty meals. It's your belly that keeps you back up, as they say, so we will eat potatoes, always. Heaps of root vegetables, roasts, soup with homemade bread and pies, sweet and savoury, crumbles and custard. Once the plates are sided away, it is back outside to do the bullocking up, the term used for feeding up and bedding all of the house animals and readying them for the night. Everyone has their own chores to do, from feeding the dogs and hens to filling up the log basket and coal buckets. It's all to do before nightfall. We milk a house cow twice a day, first thing in the morning and last thing at night. 12 hours between milking is ideal so there's no undue pressure on the udder. And cows are creatures of habit, who get to know and love regular routines. It settles them if they know what to expect and when. The three smallest children, Clemmy, Annis and Nancy, like to sort out the stables.